Donald Trump flipping the script on his criminal hush money trial in New York, going from the court to a bodega. If that place looked familiar, well, that's because you've seen it before.
I'm sure you have seen it before. And real quick, hey, what's up, my friends? How y'all doing out there? Thanks for tuning in. Let's check this out together. Let me get right back to it. I'm sure you have seen it before. If you recall, I guess it's been a couple of years now, where somebody comes into this guy's store, attacks him, tries to kill him. He defends himself, and what happens? He winds up killing the perpetrator that's trying to kill him. And Alvin Bragg, this same scumbag that's going after Donald Trump, what does he do? They should have thrown a ticker tape parade for this guy that, took out this scumbag that goes in and tries to kill people over a bag of chips, by the way. But what did they do? They arrested the owner of the store. They threw him in Rikers Island. Now, if you're not familiar with Rikers Island, and I hope you're not actually, Rikers Island is an awful place. It's one of the worst prisons in the United States. It's considered one of the most terrifying, scariest places you could ever be. And here's a guy that winds up in Rikers Island, not for being some, murdering rapist scumbag, for a guy that's defending his life in his own store, who goes to work and works probably like 16, 18 hours a day to try and make a living, providing a service to the people in New York where they can come and shop and do, the things they need to do. And once he winds up in Rikers Island for saving his own life, which I thought, was like unarguable. I don't care, you're on the left, you're on the right. I thought you were allowed to defend yourself. Someone's trying to murder you and you defend yourself and protect your life. So I'm sure you know the story. Let's just go on with it.
Infamous site where its previous owner, Jose Alba, stabbed a man to death in self-defense, but was charged by a New York City DA named Alvin Bragg, who's very familiar to you now. But then finally, under a lot of pressure, Alvin Bragg dropped the case. The former president railing against Bragg's crime record on tape. Watch here.
They want law and order. They have a lot of crime, tremendous crime, where their stores are being robbed. We have to straighten out New York, and that includes crime. And these guys have great people.
Let me just also say, I've spent an incredible amount of time in New York. New York was my stomping ground. I mean, I loved New York, playing up in Brooklyn, L'Amour's, and all the big clubs up there. What a wonderful time that was. That's been, quite a few years back. But I'll tell you, there was nothing better. It was a great place. Other than you couldn't drive anywhere. It took you an hour to get 3 feet. But hey, that's the price you pay. But you felt relatively safe. I mean, you weren't terrified every time you took a step. Women could walk. They could go shopping. They could do things. Children, they could play. This has turned into, it is a disgrace. And where are they spending their resources? On interfering in the election. Political interference. That's where millions and millions of dollars are being dumped into this case. You guys just all filed your taxes. You're paying for this. You're paying for political interference in our election system. And they're not doing a damn thing to protect the innocent people of New York because they're focusing on this bullshit. That should bother everyone.
Great friends, but they have tremendous crimes. It's Alvin Bragg's fault.
The 32-year-old victim was stabbed several times by a man and a woman. They're on a motive for the attack. They're searching to find out what caused this attack. Now, that victim was hospitalized in serious, stable condition.
Alvin Bragg does nothing. He goes after guys like Trump, who did nothing wrong. Violent criminals, murderers. They know there are hundreds of murderers all over the city. They know who they are. They don't.
I know people in New York right now. A lot of people have left. Everyone that could leave has left. I know some people up there that kind of can't leave because of their work situations, and they're embedded. They've been there their whole lives. They own businesses. They're trying to keep it going. They tell me they won't even go out, especially at night. They won't even go out. They've lived there their whole lives. They loved it. They loved New York. They were the epitome of New Yorkers. New York was the greatest place on earth to them. They would never leave New York. They didn't want to drive outside of the city and visit somewhere else unless they had to for business reasons. And you know what? They won't leave their homes now. They won't. Are they feeling any safer because there's idiots going after Donald Trump on a case that, by the way, to be very clear, he has no jurisdiction over? No jurisdiction. The Federal Election Commission has looked into this case. There is no case. They said there were no violations. There was nothing to even give him a fine on, let alone prosecute him. But this jackass is spending all your money and all your resources in the city to go after Donald Trump simply to interfere in our elections. And people can't walk the streets. Imagine being afraid to walk up the street and pick up some groceries. Or maybe, I don't know, your children need something. You want to go up the street and get them something to eat, and you're afraid to do it. But hey, feel safe because, we're gonna rig the election, get rid of Donald Trump, so everything will be fine.
Don't pick them up.
There's been a recent string of random attacks there too.
It's not just in one spot or another. If it were, I think it would be easier to address both from the NYPD side and from our sides.
New Yorkers live it daily.
Yeah, it worries me. Like, we don't want there to be more crime when there's more people here.
The northbound 6 train was rolling into the 149th Street station when the man was pushed. In this surveillance video, the suspect is seen pacing the platform. The victim is wearing a blue jacket and a backpack. At one point, the suspect lunges in his direction behind his back. Moments later, as the victim steps to the edge to look for the train, he is shoved to the tracks. As the suspect takes off,
They go after Trump.
Well, Trump.
At one time, years and years back, some of you remember this, some of you won't, the city was in a lot of turmoil due to the mafia. There was a lot going on, a lot of shootings. But you know what? All those events were pretty much concentrated on gangsters shooting gangsters, mob wars. There was a lot of things. It wasn't good. But I'll tell you what, it wasn't necessarily affecting the everyday lives of every person there. I mean, it did to some extent. But it wasn't that women were, being attacked. The mob wasn't attacking women or children. I mean, it didn't work that way. They were shooting at each other. And, of course, that's a dangerous situation. It had to be addressed. Rudy Giuliani, he got a hold of that. And he squashed it out. And the city became a very peaceful place for a long time. But think about this. Now there's people, you're standing there in front of a subway train to get on a train, and someone just pushes you in front of the tracks. Can you even imagine how horrifying a thought this is? It's like something out of a horror movie, right? This is daily. This is nonstop. There's no way this can be allowed to continue, and it is. It's just escalating every day. So what are they going to do about it? Again, they're going to do nothing about it because they're too busy trying to screw with Donald Trump. So they're not protecting you and your family from these horrendous incidents. It's just going to continue until we get some people in office that actually address it.
Trump must have gotten under Alvin Bragg's skin, the Manhattan DA issuing a response defending his handling of the case and adding that his, quote, top priority remains combating violent crime, and the office has worked hand in hand with the NYPD to drive down overall crime in Manhattan, including...
If you go back, just go out on the web here and look around. I don't want to make the video too long. I can give you 1,000 clips. This guy ran on going after Donald Trump the way they all do. He spoke about going after Trump and his family. That was his number one priority. He made that obvious from the get-go, and that's what he's doing.
Double-digit decreases in homicides and shootings since he took office.
If you can't donate today, don't even think about it. I know times are tough because Joe Biden has absolutely destroyed.
Now, why did I put this in there? This came up while I was, splicing videos, this commercial. And I thought, you know what? It's worth putting in. It's worth putting in because everything Trump's saying here is absolutely correct. It may be a campaign ad and, they can be skewed one way or another, but he's just saying the facts. The country has been destroyed. Joe Biden and these wacko liberals have destroyed the country. You look at every facet of it. It's not just crime. Crime is incredible. I just heard stories where they're now stealing people's DoorDash, these people that do DoorDash and Uber and all these things, they call it the gig workers, okay? They're stealing their identities. They're traveling in packs of gangs, 4 or 5 people to a car. They go out, they make hundreds of thousands of dollars under this person's name. They don't pay tax on it because the tax bill goes to the person who doesn't even know that they're registered and isn't even out there doing it. Then they're using that. They're going up. They're delivering. They're stealing all the packages from these people's doors. They're mugging people. They're robbing people. This is all organized crime, and it's pouring across our borders every day. By the way, not to mention, ruining our country. How about ruining the world? We're not on the verge of World War III anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to say it to you. We're in World War III. We're there. You're just not seeing it on our soil yet, but it's heading in our direction. Look, it's unfolding everywhere. The whole globe is unfolding. This isn't a mistake. This is intentional. They don't give a damn about you and I.
Our country in so many different ways, including economically. But if you can chip in anything, just $5, $10, $100, you'll be leading the charge to make America great again. Patriots like you have gotten us to where we are today, right from the beginning.
And that's important too, right there. You've got to know, look, Donald Trump, he's a big guy. He's a powerful guy. He's all that. He's still one man. He's still one man. He can't change the direction of the world alone. This ship has been sailing in the wrong direction for too long. He can't just turn it around by himself. It's going to take all of us. Now, like he said, and I believe he means that. That's part of the sincerity that I find so endearing about Donald Trump, all right? No, he's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I'll tell you what, though. They've dug so far into his past, and they've found nothing. Nothing. If they dug that deep into most people's past, they'd find a lot worse, okay? I doubt many of you are perfect out there. I doubt any of you are perfect. All right? Some are better than others. Some have made bigger mistakes than others. I've made some brutal mistakes. Some things that weigh on me, all right? But listen, to ask for Donald Trump to be perfect is absurd. So don't do that. That's just crazy. Ask if he cares about you. And I think he does. I think when he says if you can't afford it, don't do it. I believe he means that. But if you can, look, throw something up because it's going to take all of us. If you don't have any financial resources, I understand, especially nowadays. But, go online. Put something together like this. Talk to your friends. Be outspoken in your community. Just do your part. You are a part of this. It's all of us. It's all the American citizens. We have to do this. Donald Trump can lead the path, but we have to do it. We have to do it together. So please be active. Get on board. Care about yourself, your children, their children, the generations to come, or we're not going to be here.
And with your support now, I know that we will win. I think that we're going to win. We're worried about the cheating, but we're going to fight hard, and we're going to keep it down to a minimum. They cheat. They can't help themselves.
Anybody that tells you there's no evidence of that is not looking for the evidence. Anybody that tells you that it was shot down in court all the time, it never made its way to court because the courts were cowards and they didn't want to touch it. All right? I saw it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a quick story. When I went to vote in 2020, my local polling place, I showed up. I was the first one in line. I was literally the first one in line. That's how important it was to me. And I wanted to get back out. I wanted to vote, and I wanted to get out on the road and help out with the campaign, get people to the polls. I volunteered to drive people. I did all kinds of things, all right? When I walked in, they told me I had already voted. How can I vote? I'm the first person. How can I? You just opened the doors. I was here before the doors were open. You voted by mail. I didn't vote by mail. I did not vote by mail. So, of course, I didn't accept that. And I was allowed to vote. But my vote wasn't counted. Were 2 votes counted? Was my vote ever counted? I don't think it was. In my heart, I don't believe it was. I know one thing's for sure. When they said I already voted, I knew something was wrong because I hadn't.
They have no shame, but we're going to keep it down to a minimum and we're going to swamp them. Thank you very much.
Oh, and I ought to say real quick, that was called a provisional ballot. So I wasn't allowed to go over the normal way. I had to fill out a provisional ballot that went into a different box. So I should have said that. So I just want to clarify that. It was a provisional ballot. I think it went in the trash.
That, however, still doesn't change the fact that Bragg has downgraded a staggering 60% of felony cases to less.
I was literally just walking, and a man came up and punched me in the face.
Stories from New York City women going viral
How about if that was your wife or your daughter?
on TikTok.
I literally just got punched by some man on the sidewalk.
Their videos detailing how they're allegedly getting punched in the face completely unprovoked.
So we were kind of like walking toward each other, and he didn't seem crazy or scary or anything. And then before I knew it, he kind of went at me diagonally and punched me in the face and ran that way.
A very warm reception at that bodega. But the media, not a fan. One MSNBC analyst comparing the former.
Keep in mind what you just saw. That's in New York City. That's in Harlem. And the crowd was much larger than what they showed there. If you go online, you find other angles. Donald Trump's not popular. People don't like Donald Trump. It's all bullshit. Donald Trump is the front runner. He's got this. I believe he had it last time. Not going to bother getting into the whole thing right now. But I'll tell you what, you don't see that for Biden. Biden can't get 5 people to stand there and give a damn what he has to say. Trump shows up and hundreds, if not thousands of people immediately flock to him and start chanting for him. In the same neighborhoods that they tell you hate him. You're being lied to about this whole thing. This is an illusion. Everything you're seeing on TV, you see CNN, MSNBC, they're running a game on you. Don't be fooled by it. It's all bullshit.
President to a caged animal, warning that he might lash out dangerously because of the trial.
Essentially, he's like a caged animal, and that's a dangerous situation. He's feeling very threatened. He's out of control, and so we do expect him to lash out. Anybody who has covered him over the past decade.
Does he look threatened to you when he's out there right in public, speaking with everyone? Very easily, you can access the guy like he's a regular guy. You can walk right up and talk to him. I mean, there's some security and all. It has to be, of course. But I mean, the guy goes everywhere. He doesn't seem so caged to me. They're trying to cage him.
You can expect that.
Oh, my God. Poor Melania. Look what he's done to Melania. Oh, this is horrifying. Oh, the humanity.
He's out of control. This man is the epitome of grace under fire. I mean, forget about the fact that he was spied on. He was impeached twice. They took $500 million from him.
You caught that, right? $500 million they've taken from him. For nothing. If they can do it to him, what can they do to you?
Indicted him 4 times. They're looking to put him in jail. This guy's out campaigning as soon as court is out. And you know, this guy Bragg, I got to tell you, he is a make-believe prosecutor. This guy's job is to protect the criminal and forget about the victim. Alvin Bragg is the kind of guy who forgives those who rob people with weapons, but then indicts people who defend themselves with weapons.
Tonight, MTA police turning to the public for help after an unprovoked attack in broad daylight. It all happened inside a busy Grand Central this morning. Police say a 9-year-old was with her mom inside the dining hall when a man randomly approached them and punched that little girl in her face.
A 9-year-old girl. He just walks up and punches her in the face. What kind of an animal does something like this? Can you imagine the damage that may have been done? I mean, I don't know the extent of the damage, but a grown man punches a 9-year-old girl in the face. There's going to be damage. It could be lifetime damage. It could be mental. It could be physical. I mean, it could be scarring not on her soul, and her face may be, messed up. She could be scarred brutally. I mean, this is New Year's, but we're going after Donald Trump. Maybe the next guy will just walk up and shoot a 9-year-old girl in the face or stab her. You got to put an end to this, guys. We got to put an end to this guy. And there's only one way to get sane people back in office. The sane people that can rein this type of crime in and meet with the world leaders and put an end to this, what could be the last war we ever have. Easily could go nuclear. I don't mean to scare people, I don't want to bring anybody down. I believe in laughter. I believe in music. I believe in having a great life. I believe in loving one another and our families. But look, right now we've got to be realistic, and we're on the verge of something terrible. We need a course correction. We need a course correction desperately.
I do think that it was brilliant on the part of Donald Trump to go back to the bodega, because this is a place where an ex-con, a career criminal, jumped over the counter of the owner of this bodega to stab him because the owner of the bodega wouldn't give his girlfriend a free bag of chips.
Again, career criminal, not a guy that, I don't know, did something stupid. This is a guy that's out doing these types of things. They know he's out doing these types of things. And who are they protecting? Not the owner of the bodega, not the hard-working, honest guy. No, the scumbag that goes around robbing people, beating people for no reason. Who knows? Has he murdered people? Maybe. Maybe they found guys in an alley maybe they found a woman in an alley one time. Maybe he was responsible for that. You don't know. This guy's a dangerous guy. This isn't a guy you say, oh, we're giving him a second chance. It's not some kid that screwed up. No, these are dangerous people. They're just letting run the streets and punishing the hardworking people, honest people. It's disgusting.
And while the ex-con's girlfriend is stabbing the owner, he is cornered, he is being attacked, and he's about to be stabbed, and he defends himself. And this bozo, Alvin Bragg, says after a thorough investigation, we dismissed $250,000 bail in Rikers Island for 3 weeks.
They dismissed it because of the pressure that people like you and I put on them. Okay? They would have locked this poor guy up for the rest of his life. In Rikers Island. If you don't know what that means, you don't want to know what it means. They would have locked this guy away except for the pressure that you and I applied. So that right there says that you do have a voice. When you see injustice, speak up. But this should have never happened in the first place, and we can't allow it to happen again.
Only because we went crazy, the media went crazy, the public went crazy, and the poor owner, he went back to the Dominican Republic. So, Alvin Bragg is going to say, I'm a great DA because I'm going to convict Trump. Well, if you don't, you're a fool. It's 90% Democrats and blue in this city, including the jury pool.
Oh my God, it hurts so bad.
Another subway attack here in New York City. This time the victim is a cellist.
This was one of the best things about, I shouldn't say that. There's so many things I loved about New York when I was up there, when I was out there playing all this, doing all the shows, touring around with all the big bands, the party. I just had a great time. But there were street musicians everywhere. You went down in the subways, which I didn't do very often. I didn't have a lot of need for subways, but I've been in the subways. And there were these tremendous performers and artists of all different varieties. And it was a really neat feeling. It was part of the culture of New York. It was one of the things that made New York the greatest city in the world. And it's falling apart. It's falling apart between our eyes because of things like this. Look at this crazy person. Who is this woman? Who is this woman? Why would you ever do this? I can't even get over it. I'm going to click back because I probably cut it off there. I want you to see it, the full thing. But it gets me so upset. When I get upset, I got to say something.
Who performs on the platform while attending
pool.
Oh my God, it hurts so bad.
Another subway attack here in New York City. This time the victim is a cellist who performs on the platform while attending medical school. Now, after the violent attack, it is not clear that he will ever play in the subway.
Attending medical school. A talented musician, entertaining people, trying to pay his way through medical school so that he can save lives. Your life, my life, our children's lives, who knows, right? Going through medical school to help people and sure, make a good living. I hope you should, right? And this is what has to happen to a guy like this. So if it happens to him, it can't happen to you. Of course it can happen to you.
Way again.
And Gus, first of all, what we do know is that suspect is in custody. The MTA confirming that, saying he was arrested about 20 minutes ago. But we're also learning that this is the second time in about a week and a half that this suspect is accused of randomly punching someone inside Grand Central.
Second time in a week and a half. A week and a half. But Bragg didn't have time to mess with this guy. He's got bigger fish to fry because he's trying to frame Donald Trump.
The MTA police says this time it was a 9-year-old girl from the Bronx.
He gets in front of the mic and he just drops it. The crowd's chanting. You can't manufacture that. You didn't hand out scripts for that because if so, they wouldn't see it online right now. Everyone would have a thing of the. So what he's doing is we're seeing in real time a living martyr because he's dead in the courtroom, but his trials is in the public and he's winning in the public.
They've locked him. They're trying to lock him in this box, keep him in New York so he can't go out and campaign. They're holding him there for months. They're holding him hostage during a presidential election. It's mind-blowing. The front runner for the presidential election. Excuse me. And they're trying to lock him, hold him up so he can't handcuff him so he can't go out and campaign. So what's he do? He flips the script on him. Now he's out in New York. He's talking about holding big, big rallies in New York. He's talking about Madison Square Gardens. I think they're going to regret holding him in New York. Listen, I'm not going to say we're going to flip New York, but I'm not going to say it's impossible. Because let me tell you something. They divide us by race. They divide us by wealth. They divide us by height, weight. They divide us by anything they can sex. They divide us by anything they can divide us by. That's their goal. All right? But we're not falling for it. I'm not falling for it. I hope you're not falling for it. I doubt you are. But some people are. We need to stop the bullshit. I got news for you. Everyone from every race, from every size, from every background, from every educational level, we all care about one thing at the end of the day, except for the sociopaths, all right? We care about our safety and our children's safety. We care about our families. We care about whether we can afford to go to the grocery store and feed our families. We care about the gas prices so you can go to work so you can make money to feed your family. We all care about the same thing. Stop the division. They're doing it on purpose. Donald Trump's not dividing anyone. They lie about the things he says. They're all lies. Every time you hear that he said something so horrific, go look for the full clip. I guarantee you it's edited out. There's different parts. The bullshit they said with the violence. He never said there was going to be violence if he wasn't elected. That's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. You look at the full clip and then you'll see what he said, and they selectively edited it out. Don't fall for it anymore. They're using it to divide us, to hurt us, to control us. They don't want you to have a voice.
It's designed for him to lose. When you look at, because no one else is getting charged with this. No one. Like it's crazy. The statute of limitations are out. It should have been done.
Not only is the statute of limitations out, and if you're familiar with that at all, if you're not, please look it up. I don't want to bore you explaining the whole thing. Most people understand it. Once the statute of limitations is up, it's over, okay? There's nothing they can do. Even if you're guilty of a terrible crime, if the statute of limitations is up, it's up. That's it. They can't do anything. So there, the statute of limitations is up, yet they do it anyway. That's incredible. It can't be done. I can't even put it into words, all right? Then there's a jurisdiction problem. This was already looked at by the FEC, the Federal Election Commission, all right? Because this was already brought up multiple times by the libs, all right? They reviewed it. They reviewed everything about it. They're experts at it. It's their jurisdiction. They're the ones that prosecute on these things, all right? And they said, there's no crime. Why did they say that? Because there was no crime. He did nothing wrong. I don't know what went on with Stormy. I don't give a damn. I tend to believe she's full of shit and just trying to get money, but whatever you believe, who the hell cares, all right? You know, he without sin cast the first stone. Enough, all right? Enough. Okay, we need a good person in the presidency seat, a competent person, a person that, as he said, I want people to stop dying. I want them to stop dying also, all over the world, in all these endless wars that we have started. All this bullshit with Russia and Ukraine, we caused it. We caused it. I can get into that in another episode. That would take forever. But trust me, we're at fault there. I'm not giving Russia a full pass and everything, but I'll tell you what, would we allow, I'm getting wound up. We're squeezing the UN. That was our red line for Russia. We can't be on his border with the UN. Would we allow Russia to put nukes in Canada or in Mexico? Of course we wouldn't. Of course we wouldn't. We would respond, and we would respond the same way that Russia and Putin has responded. So there's a lot more to that story too. They're causing these things intentionally. I know it's hard to even imagine who would do that. These sick people would.
Deal. They found a way. Like I said, so it's the one time he said witch trial probably 50 times. This is the one time where it feels like a witch trial to the regular I didn't pass the bar guy.
Well, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. There's so much more I can say, but you know, you're intelligent people. You know what's going on. I just want to have a conversation with you real quick about it. Listen, put your comments in there, like, share. Come on, help spread the word on this. We're all working together in this. I'd love to hear your opinions. I'm sure you have some brilliant thoughts that I haven't thought of. If you shoot one my way, I'll see if I can get it in there for you on a future episode. But listen, bottom line, we've got to save the United States of America. We've got to save the world. We've got to save the world from annihilation, from this destruction. This is pure evil. This is evil. There is no doubt about it. We're facing pure evil. I don't care whether you're a religious person, not a religious person. I'm a Christian. It doesn't matter if you are or you're not. I don't care what religion you are. If you're no religion, there's still such a thing as evil, right? You're seeing it unfold. It's up to you and I to stop that. Later.